It's had a huge impact on our family, a huge impact.
And we knew life was going to change forever at that point.
And then I saw this man who's dragging a little kid around.
I have so much respect to Team Angel Wolf.
When we set up Team Angel Wolf, one of our initial goals was how do we embrace other children with disabilities.
People have come to us or written us messages saying that, they've seen Rio's journey and that's inspired them. In my heart, the whole point is inclusion, and Rio being there, racing against another athlete, should be ordinary.
All of a sudden, we started to realise what an impact not only was this going to have on Rio, how it was going to have an impact on the triathlon community.
When I look back on Nick's life, early life, from what I've heard from him, from his parents, from his friends, I kind of realised that what he's doing now has always been his calling. A lot of different traumas and a lot of hardships we've been through have maybe purposely happened to drag him back to that path.
Triathlon has made a huge impact to our lives, and we love the sport. Rio is super content.
They just seem to be having so much fun in something that they love to do. Leo lifts Nick up to do better, and they're sharing something that is wonderful together.
Everything was fine until a moment on a Friday afternoon, bathing Rio. Rio was literally on my chest, happy moment, father and son. And all of a sudden, Rio literally stops breathing. And it's that moment where you just go, am I about to lose my son?
And we knew life was going to change forever at that point.
The situation developed and, they learned what was going on. I think there was a lot of concern what the future was going to look like.
It brought a lot of restrictions, it brought a lot of emotions.
It's had a huge impact on our family, a huge impact. You're always living on edge.
Yeah, it was a really hard time for the family, for him and Delphine. But, I'm just in awe of what they've sort of built out of it. They've taken their sort of life direction. They're both very keen on making other people feel good through the exercise that they enjoy. And, now they've got two amazing kids who are part of that.
Craig goes back to my great days in the Royal Marines.
Nick and I met when we were in 4-5 Commando. When we were serving, we would never be far apart, and on our time off, we'd spend our time off together as well. Nick and I sort of clicked instantly.
Craig became like a brother figure. He's made a huge impact in my life.
Even then, Nick stood out as someone, he was an athlete even then, if that makes sense. He's always striving to find something good out of everything that happens around him. We were inseparable for, a good few years while we were working together in the Marines, and have remained friends ever since. Team Angel Wolf is my sort of daily or weekly dose of inspiration.
I think when people see Nick and Rio out on the track, or Tia and Rio, or the whole family together, I think they're inspired.
I know Nick. I've known him as an athlete and as a soldier side by side, and I know he could do that. But it's amazing that he does it. That wasn't as impressive as when I saw Tia do it, because that blew me away, and I'm not ashamed to say I was definitely crying the first time I saw that video.
Tia, her nickname Little Wolf, and a part of Team Angel Wolf, has been a huge impact to everyone's life in the family.
To watch her, do it and have that strength and that fortitude, I found that phenomenal.
She's physically strong, she's super fit, she's super focused, and to her it just became second nature.
It's different between us and the other athletes because we're pushing or we're pulling someone else.
To see her out, being able to pull her brother around on a kayak, to pull him on a bicycle, push him in the chair, it's crazy.
That has a huge impact on so many people's lives, not only just Rio, not just me as a father. That's the impact of Team Angel Wolf. In 2014, I had the biggest scare of my life. Wasn't feeling too well, went to see the doctor, said you look pale, you may be bleeding from somewhere.
The tumour in his colon, that's when he kind of thought, I need to look after my health and I need to get back into triathlon. And that's when the whole kind of journey unfolded that, hang on, I can do this with Rio. We can race together, we can do triathlon together.
Delphine turned around and said one day, have you ever thought about racing with Rio? And I was like, then I'm going to do this. I need the equipment. How am I going to race with him?
Nick rediscovering triathlon and rediscovering a new connection with his son.
And that was the start of the journey. And since then, 400 races, 10,000 kilometers, all trying to make an impact on the importance of inclusion. Sam made it all happen in Dubai with our first race. We were planning to do our first race, we weren't quite sure which one. We didn't have any equipment.
The first time I connected with Nick was due to a Facebook post he put out and tried to buy, looking for sponsors and telling his story about him and Rio and his past of triathlon. Yeah, it was inspiring, so I thought I'd just reach out. We wanted to support the community and we had the products he was looking for, so yeah, it seemed like a perfect match. Nick and Rio together with also with Delphine and Tia. It's a really powerful and loving family.
My wife, Delphine, is really the backbone of me and Team Angel Wolf.
We call her Mama Wolf because she holds the whole of Team Angel Wolf together. She does everything behind the scenes. She tirelessly looks after Rio. She gets everybody organised, gets them all up, gets them all out.
Delphine is always there, making sure Team Angel Wolf is on the track. They have everything they need. The gear is ready, the nutrition is ready.
She doesn't want any praise for it. She just kind of gets on with it quietly and does it.
I always kind of consider myself, I'm just the diesel engine that pulls and pushes my son around a triathlon, but Delphine's the one that keeps it all together.
The first time I saw Team Angel Wolf, I was intimidated. He was scary.
What makes him inspiring in a race? Nick's too scary to say no to.
I mean, there's this machine hammering it on the swim, on the bike, on the run.
With meeting Team Angel Wolf with my daughter and watching all the videos, they were just a big inspiration for us because we were just getting into triathlon.
We talk about this inclusivity and being impactful in the community, and they're doing that.
They've taken something that's amazing and inspiring anyway, but they're not satisfied with just having that themselves. They want everybody to sort of find some joy in whatever they can do.
Embracing everybody, no matter how they look, how they behave, what condition they might have, and involving them, including them.
Their message is just amazing. There is no such thing that because someone has like physical challenges, they can't take part of a race, they can't take part of something they love. So seeing them racing, it's great.
We can be included, we can do these things, barriers can be broken down.
I have so much respect to Team Angel Wolf.
One of the luckiest opportunities I think we had as Team Angel Wolf is being invited to races in different countries.
Now we've taken another step forward in telling our story to many others. What a fantastic opportunity to go and race in Belgrade. We swam in the river, we biked around literally from the outskirts of the city and we ran through the canal.
It was really cool watching them race, especially in a different country.
I have a tendency to do is walk Rio across the finish line. These are always very emotional moments, not only obviously for me personally, but what we've just gone through as a father and son. It's lovely to physically hold him and hold his hands up.
It was almost like going back to racing again in Dubai. It was new there. So seeing people's reaction was nice again to see the impact it was making. It was very special.
I think what's next for Team Angel Wolf would be the ultimate goal would be to compete at Kona.
I had the opportunity to go there in 2002, Probably one of the hardest days and the hardest races that I've ever done.
I remember when Nick crossed the finish line, you know, he was all emotional, he was tired and he was just exhausted, and he said to me, what got me to the end was thinking of our child to be. We didn't know Rio was going to be a boy then.
I always remember saying to her, one day I want to come back and race with my son and daughter.
We didn't know what was ahead, what was this journey, and when we discovered Rio had disabilities, I think Nick slightly lost that dream.
Cornwall is this idyllic little part of the world in the UK, and yeah, that was home for me at the beginning.
I can imagine that, you know, living by the sea and enjoying swimming and running up and down those hills, and stories about him being on a little bike, and I get to see all that has kind of developed into what he's doing today.
This is where he started to ride, and this is where he started to run, so I don't know if that set him up for his future endeavours.
Moving to France when he was 16 was probably the biggest influence on his life to get him on the triathlon journey.
My parents had moved to France. They bought a beautiful hotel in central France, and when I got there, the first thing I found out is they did a triathlon.
Obviously the cycling culture being so more predominant, it clicked him with his swimming and his running, and he had the opportunity around where the hotel was in France, that, you know, he had the lake on the doorstep, he had these amazing roads. I think he was just in the perfect place at the perfect time, and sort of all those things came together for him in France.
For us and many, this has become our home.
I think the Watson family enjoy living in Dubai because it's such a multinational society.
I think that we're very lucky to live in Dubai and to train in Dubai.
The Watsons and Team Angel Wolf have really found their family here in Dubai.
We have so many races, we've got perfect weather for it. The community of athletes have almost become one big extended family, and we are an equal part of that.
One thing that we've come to realise is how much Rio loves racing, and he's wanting to connect with people, he's wanting to talk to people, he's wanting to communicate. So I think the racing has been a huge part of his development.
When I look at Rio's quality of life from 2014 when I started and now, it's amazing how this boy has moved up in his awareness and his well-being.
You can see the happiness in his eyes when he races, when he's on the bike. He also claps and reacts and talk to people.
Every race, every training session always has a key objective to find a way to get back to Hawaii. I've watched this little boy from being a little toddler to where he is today, thinking one day we need to go back.
If he could get back there full circle, taking his son to the start line and across the finish line, it would cap off what's been a pretty turbulent 20 years, I'm sure.
It would mean so much, I think, to get back to Kona. It would almost be completing that whole journey. With Rio, it started there. And it would be wonderful to go back now, Rio as a young man, and racing with his dad. It would complete that dream for him.